Is your lunch break a non-negotiable right? Maybe a forgotten luxury? Or is it just, a fleeting moment that many people wish they even had? Welcome to Daily English Practice. Listen and speak. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something we all experience. English for lunch break. And believe me, it's way more than just grabbing a bite to eat.
Oh, absolutely. It's this really rich mix of culture, etiquette, even legal rights. And crucially, it's a fantastic chance to boost your English skills.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack what a lunch break really means culturally, legally, how to handle the social side of things, and yeah, how to turn it into your secret weapon for daily English practice. I think most people just see it as that midday pause, right? Time to refuel. But what does it truly signify, in the professional world, and maybe for you personally?
Well, fundamentally, it's that vital time to reset, to relax, yes, but also to re-energize your brain for the afternoon ahead. It's actually pretty critical for productivity and focus. But it goes deeper. As you hinted, it's often not just a perk, it's a fundamental right, something legally protected.
Right, you mentioned the legal side. How does that actually work?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Take Australia, for instance. It's generally illegal there to make someone work, say, 12 hours straight without any break.
Wow, okay.
Typically, you're entitled to at least a 30-minute unpaid meal break after working 5 hours. And for those longer shifts, like a 12-hour one, you're often looking at multiple breaks, maybe 2 30-minute ones, plus some shorter paid breaks, too.
So it's properly structured into the law.
Exactly. And this applies even to casual workers. They have rights. If an employer denies these breaks, employees can contact authorities like the Fair Work Ombudsman, and this can lead to real consequences for the employer, penalties, even having to pay back wages. So that little pause, it's actually a pretty big deal legally in many places.
That's fascinating. It really highlights how something so, essential can sometimes be taken for granted or maybe even overlooked. So how does this daily ritual look different around the globe? It can't be the same everywhere.
Oh, definitely not. It's hugely variable. Think about your own lunch habits listening to this. Are they quick? Leisurely? At your desk?
Good point.
If we look at English-speaking cultures, you see big differences. In the US, for example, lunch breaks are often quite short, maybe 45 minutes, sometimes less.
Yeah, I've heard that. The sad desk lunch.
Exactly. Often
Yep.
eaten right there at the desk or maybe in a break room. Bringing lunch from home is super common. It's very much about efficiency, getting back to work quickly.
Okay, and what about, say, the UK?
Well, in Britain, it's typically a bit longer for office jobs, usually around an hour. Gives you a bit more breathing space. And culturally, sandwiches are king. Absolutely. Something like over half of British people eat a sandwich every day. And you've got the whole meal deal culture from supermarkets, grab a sandwich or a wrap, a drink, and a snack, all for a fixed price, like, £3.50. It's all about convenience.
A national institution almost.
Pretty much. Now, of course, this contrasts with the sort of dream lunch break you hear about in some parts of Europe, 2, maybe 3 hours. Very relaxed. But the reality in the US and UK tends to be faster paced.
So it's not just the time, but also the sort of unwritten rules, the social dynamics. If you're new somewhere, starting a job, what are the do's and don'ts? What should you pack? And maybe what should you definitely leave at home?
Yes, workplace lunch etiquette, crucial for fitting in. Okay, practical advice, especially thinking about a UK office maybe. For a packed lunch, you really can't go wrong with the basics. A sandwich, a piece of fruit like an apple, and a bottle of water. Totally safe bet.
Simple, safe. Got it.
Yeah. Other common things you might see are crisps, maybe a cold sausage roll, wraps, pasta salads, that kind of thing. Easy, low-fuss food.
Okay, but what about the don'ts?
Right. The absolute golden rule, and honestly, this is key for getting along with colleagues, please avoid, microwaving anything with a strong smell in a shared office microwave.
Oh, I can imagine. Like what specifically?
Think fish. Definitely fish kippers, tuna, sardines are notorious offenders. Strong curries, too. Even things like egg mayo sandwiches or, believe it or not, baked beans can cause a bit of an olfactory incident. The smell just lingers.
Good to know. Avoid the fish curry then.
Please do. And basic hygiene, obviously. Always wash your own plates, cutlery, mugs. People often bring their own favorite mug, so don't just grab any old one. Shared stuff might be company branded or belong to someone else.
Right. What about shared spaces like canteens?
Yeah, some places have canteens or at least microwaves, fridges, kettles. Other times you might find colleagues popping out for takeaways, going to a cafe, maybe even chipping in together for a delivery order. And a little insider tip, maybe slightly humorous but true. Sharing biscuits, particularly hobnobs in the UK, can genuinely make you popular very quickly. An absolute legend, as they might say.
Uh-huh. Become a legend with biscuits. I like
Mm.
it. That's great practical stuff. But let's shift gears slightly. What if lunch isn't just about casual chat with colleagues? What about the more formal business lunch? It feels relaxed, but it's still work, right?
Exactly. It's always still business, even if the setting is more relaxed. And there's a whole different set of etiquette rules if you want to come across well, be that perfect lunch guest.
Okay, so what are the key things there?
Well, first off, punctuality. Be on time. It shows respect. Simple but critical. Second, unlike maybe a social dinner party, you generally don't bring a gift for the host to a business lunch. It's just not expected.
Right, no gifts. What about actually talking business?
Good question. It's generally okay, yes, but you need to read the room. Let your host guide the conversation. Don't just launch into sales pitches the minute you sit down. Wait for the right moment, maybe after initial pleasantries or ordering.
Makes sense. Follow their lead.
Precisely. And regarding food and drink, it's usually considered polite to accept what's offered unless you have a genuine dietary reason. If you just don't fancy something, find a diplomatic way around it rather than saying, I don't like that.
Okay, tact is important.
Very. Also, your phone. Keep it off. Or at least silent and completely out of sight. Show you're fully present. And naturally, a sincere thank you at the end is essential.
And what about choosing food? Any tips there?
Yes. Order something that's easy to eat. You don't want to be battling spaghetti or a messy burger while trying to hold an important conversation. Keep it simple. And finally, if you don't know the people well, err on the side of formality and politeness. It builds professionalism.
That's a really helpful checklist. But knowing the rules is one thing, actually saying the right thing is another. I imagine specific phrases are key here. What are some must-knows?
Ah, yes, the language itself. This is where it can feel like a bit of a minefield, but having a few key phrases really helps smooth things over. It's about showing politeness and confidence.
Okay, give us some examples.
Sure, basic things first, like asking for the menu. Can I see the menu, please? If you're the guest, you might ask your host, what do you recommend? Or if you're the host, you could say, the beefsteak is very good. I recommend you try that.
Simple, clear. What about dietary needs? That could be tricky.
Absolutely. Be direct but polite. Do you have any vegetarian dishes? Or does this contain meat? Maybe how spicy is it? Or even, I'm allergic to nuts. That's crucial information to share. You could also ask, what does this dish contain? If you're unsure.
Very important. How about ordering itself?
Keep it simple. I will have this one, please. Or maybe you want to share. Is there any dish we could share? You can also ask about courses. What starters do you recommend? What's the special for today? What is the soup of the day? Do you have any desserts?
And drinks?
Similar politeness. Can we have a bottle of wine with the meal? Can I have a glass of water, please? Could I see the wine list, please?
And showing appreciation. That seems important too.
Definitely. As the guest, you might say something specific like, the steak tastes really good. The juiciness is perfect. The host might respond with, I'm glad you like it. That's one of their specialties. And at the end, always, thank you for lunch. I really enjoyed it. The host's reply is typically something like, it was my pleasure.
These phrases are gold. They really show how language is about more than just words. It's about building connection and showing respect.
Exactly. And remember, for everyone listening, we've compiled a more comprehensive list of these phrases in our deep dive companion notes for you to check out.
Great stuff. So we've gone from the basics of the break through cultural differences, etiquette, business lunches. What does this all mean for your English learning journey? How can you listening right now actually turn your lunch break into a proper learning session, especially if you're often eating alone?
Right. This is where we make it super practical for your daily life. Your lunch break, even solo, is prime time for English practice. Let's talk about speaking first. One simple technique. Speak into the mirror.
Into the mirror.
Yeah. Practice simple daily sentences. Today I will finish this report. Yesterday I went for a walk. It helps you practice different tenses, sure, but also lets you see your mouth movements for pronunciation, work on body language. It just gets you comfortable seeing a face while you speak English, even if it's your own.
That's clever. What else for solo speaking?
Try collocation fun. Pick a topic you're interested in. Find some related collocations or idioms, things like exact science or not rocket science. Make some sentences using them, then try to give a little 1-minute talk using those phrases. It forces you to use new vocabulary actively.
Like a mini presentation to yourself.
Exactly. You could also try imitating English-speaking actors. Don't just copy the accent, but the body language, the gestures, the facial expressions, the rhythm of their speech. It's like putting on a mask, which can actually lower your anxiety about making mistakes.
Interesting psychological trick.
It can be. And another one is to sort of imitate how English speakers might sound when they speak your native language. That characteristic accent or rhythm. Then switch to English, but try to keep some of that foreign quality. It can paradoxically make your English sound more natural in terms of stress and intonation sometimes.
Okay, that's quite abstract, but I can see how it might work. What about practicing out and about?
You can just describe what you're doing, silently or quietly. Start simple. Bicycle. Trees. Then build up. Riding a bike.
Oh,
Cluster of trees. Then full sentences. I'm riding my bike past a cluster of trees. If you feel self-conscious, pretend you're on a hands-free call or, narrating your own spy movie in your head.
haha. Secret agent language practice. Love it.
Yeah.
What about listening and speaking together?
Okay, so practice with short audios is great. Use platforms like LingQ maybe, find short bits of audio, really focus what words are stressed, pick out useful phrases. Try to summarize the audio in your own words. Then record yourself retelling it. Use a simple voice recorder app or something like Vocaroo online, the key step. Compare your recording to the original audio. Notice the differences.
That comparison sounds really valuable.
It is. Another technique is shadowing. Listen to a short audio clip and try to repeat what's being said almost at the same time, just a fraction of a second behind the speaker. It forces you to focus intensely on pronunciation, word stress, and intonation without consciously thinking about grammar.
That sounds challenging but effective.
It takes practice. And don't underestimate the power of singing in English. Find songs you love, look up the lyrics, and sing along. It's fun, and it naturally teaches you about rhythm, melody, intonation, connected speech, contractions like gonna, wanna, and those weak sounds that are so common in spoken English. There are even websites like Lyrics Training that make a game out of it.
Singing your way to fluency. I like it. Any tips for interaction, even if it's not face-to-face?
Yes. Instead of texting friends or family who speak English, try sending audio messages. Use WhatsApp voice notes or similar. The great thing is, you have time to think about what you want to say. You can practice it. You can even re-record it if you mess up. It takes away the pressure of instant live conversation, but still practices speaking.
That's a good stepping stone.
Definitely. And you can also practice responding. Find resources online, maybe YouTube playlists like the English Speaking Success Channel's Responding series, where they just ask you questions, pause the video, give a quick answer out loud. Even if you don't know much about the topic, the goal is to practice generating ideas and speaking quickly under a little bit of pressure.
Building that quick thinking muscle.
Exactly. And finally, think bigger picture. Immerse yourself. Do a sort of lifestyle audit. How much English can you realistically weave into your day? Change your phone language. Follow English accounts on social media. Listen to English podcasts like this one. Watch films, listen to music, read books in English. Every little bit helps.
It all adds up. What about staying motivated?
Crucial. Set goals. Make them short-term and measurable, like I will practice speaking for 10 minutes every day for the next 2 weeks. Break big goals down, and on days you feel zero motivation, use the 1-minute trick. Just commit to doing 1 single minute of practice. Often, once you start, you'll keep going.
Just getting over that initial hump.
Precisely. And build habits. Try practicing at the same time and place each day if you can, or link it to something you already do automatically, like practice while you brush your teeth or make coffee. And even if you practice alone, consider joining a community. Online groups, like on Facebook, can offer amazing support, motivation, and a sense that you're not alone on this journey.
Wow, that's a worth of practical strategies. It really shows that your lunch break isn't just about fuel for your body.
It's fuel for your brain and a potential goldmine for your English growth.
Absolutely. So think about it. Your lunch break. It might seem like just a pause, but as we've heard, it's this complex mix of rights, cultural habits, social etiquette, and yes, an incredibly powerful, often untapped resource for your English journey. So the question for you is, how will you transform your next lunch break into a strategic step towards fluency and maybe even deeper cultural understanding? We really hope you enjoyed this deep dive into English for lunch break and picked up some valuable insights and tips you can use right away. Thank you so much for listening, and please do subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. Listen, speak.